Going on, everyone? Welcome, Rabid here, and today we're going to be looking at Radiant, RXD, and the latest announcement that everyone has been talking about. What is going on with Radiant? It seems like anytime they post a new announcement, the coin looks worse, and worse. So what the heck is going on with Radiant? All right, so let's start here. Dear Radiant community, we are excited. Listen here. They are excited to share this news with you guys. They are excited, all right? Step number one, excitement, because I know I sure as hell am not excited, as well as everyone else I've been seeing DMs and posts on Twitter. Nobody is excited about this except for the Radiant team, which a lot of people say they don't even have devs on team anyway, so why should it matter? But now it looks like as soon as they can get a cut of some free money, there's a team right together and they're ready to roll. So anyway, let's continue on after the first three words. To share some significant updates regarding the Radiant network, a major ASIC manufacturer, they say major here, which nobody has heard of. Is this Bitmain? Is this someone else? Probably not. It's probably some no-name company we never heard of, but let's continue on. Commonly referred to as the entity. This is probably the stupidest thing ever, but let's take a look. What is the entity? So what is the entity? Before we go any further, as we know, I've been covering it, a lot of other people have been covering as well, is we seen a pretty much a hash rate takeover on three coins, a Lithium, Radiant, and Kyla coin. Now, Kyla coin recently did fork away from all this to allow more decentralization onto their chain from allowing CPU mining only. Now, here we can see from a 2-month-old video here, yeah, this is about 2 months ago, a Lithium hash rate spiked just before this Y right here. Now, if I fast forward it a little bit here to where we see Kyla coin, we can see the same spike happened right at the Y here, exact same time. And then if we find Radiant, wherever that may be, over here somewhere, we can see that Radiant spiked right at that Y at the exact same time. So all this hardware hit these three networks and pretty much pushed everyone else away, soaking up 90% plus of the daily emissions. So now that we know who the entity is, let's continue. So the entity has made a substantial investment in our network. Well, no, they didn't. All they care about is taking it over, dumping the coins on all three of these networks while they're on, and crashing out the prices. So they're selling every day. So maybe they think that's a good investment. I don't know. I might be lost here. Let me know down in the comment section. Here are the key points we would like to communicate. So number one, commitment to network security. This is hilarious. Having all the hash rate on one entity, mining to it, seems to be a good thing for security. That should be a big X right there, but you know, maybe I'm wrong in this case. Again, the entity has assured us that they are committed to securing the Radiant network and will strictly abide by all network rules. Hey, you know what? If I was a scammer, I'd definitely say I'm not a scammer, so whatever. I feel this is all null and void, and this probably should not be here. You're making yourself look like a joke. Their business is focused on generating profit and growing partnerships. This I can agree with. They're definitely generating profit and crashing the price because they are selling all the time. And growing partnerships, you know, with the Radiant chain here. I don't know who else they're growing with. Not harming our project. This, I don't see where there's any stance here because, again, they're crashing the price. So I don't know how that's not harming the project. They aim to be our partners in success. Whatever. Number two, community collaboration. In response to our request, the entity has agreed not to run their private nodes and to distribute their hashing power across multiple pools. Well, that is good because if they're not running their own nodes, then they can't attack the network on a 51% double spend. And that way, you know, it is safer if they're spreading across these other pools and stuff here. So I guess that's one bonus that they are doing. This measure ensures redundancy and a more decentralized network given the circumstances. Again, it's not more decentralized because it's still the same entity with all this hash rate. All right, so here we have support for the community fund, and demonstrating their dedication to our project, the entity is contributing 10% of their block rewards from Viper to the community to fund. Now, this also goes back to, there are, you know, some rumors that maybe they're thinking about maybe banning this guy. And obviously the team said no, and now they're getting paid to allow this farm to stay on. So again, this is just looking like greedy devs, which supposedly RXD doesn't have devs or owner or anything, but somehow they're still making all the decisions. This generous contribution amounts to a little over 5% of the daily emissions. And remember, there's been a lot of crowdfunding going on. They have said how broke they were in the past, so they need more money for more listings and stuff. So it's awesome. Give us some money now. This is where sometimes if a coin wants to do good, pre-mines are good. You know, all these things are good that everybody says is rug pull and dumb. You know, if a community does a decent pre-mine or they're getting a set share of blocks and stuff, as long as the devs have good intention, which they use for future listings, that they do use for, you know, pay their devs and stuff, that is okay to have those things. So, you know, maybe they should have done that at the start, but, you know, a lot of people get mad. Oh, there's a pre-mine, it's going to be a rug pull. You know, maybe that's not the case. You really got to understand what devs are into. But right here, we can see they were broke. Now they're getting money, so they got smiles on their face. Thank you, Giant Farm, for paying us money, translating to approximately 360,000 to 450,000 RXD per day. These resources will help our project grow and thrive. More to come on that. So that's a pretty big one right here, is they're actually paying Radiant to keep on mining instead of everyone hating on Radiant all the time, which a lot of people are doing now, because the people are asking, you know, let's fork to a GPU algorithm that's better, or a CPU algorithm, or a combo of both. Or if you really want to go to ASICs, fork to script or something that already has a lot of hardware. That way there's people out there that still have all this. But now we just have this new entity with their own ASICs. And that's where the next step comes in, their own ASIC. So future ASIC availability. There is no future ASIC availability. ASICs have been here for months by the entity. So the entity plans to release their miners publicly once the economics of it have reached their intended goal, which means whatever it costs for them to make them, and then some. They're pre-mining the crap out of this, worse than any Bitmain previous pre-mine on their miners, and then they're going to sell you all their junk. So yeah, awesome. This looks awesome. You know, we're going to have ASICs on Radiant. We knew this was coming. They planned for ASICs the whole time. That's why they didn't want to fork or anything. But now, you know, they have the entity that's paying them to stay on their network. And then they're going to pre-mine and ROI all these. And then they're going to sell them to everybody when they're worthless. So yeah, I don't see anything good about this. And then on top of it all, it says they will keep the network secure and support our project in the interim, while eventually making their machines available to the broader community for more decentralization of the hash and distribution. And remember, Radiant isn't really paying that much off in emissions. It's not going to take long for those ASICs to go from whatever they're making a day per now, because we don't know their hash rates yet, down to pretty much nothing in no time, especially once they start to get distributed out to a whole bunch of people who's going to FOMO the crap out of these. So next up, we understand that some community members have had concerns about network security and coin distribution fairness. We want to reiterate that proof of work remains the fairest method of distributing coins. We continue to invite all manufacturers to make SHA-512 ASICs publicly available for sale as soon as possible. Thank you for your continued support and trust in the Radiant Network. Together, we will build stronger, more secure, and prosperous network of full centralization. All right, so awesome, good stuff. What are your guys' thoughts on Radiant now with all this? Like, I don't know, like this has all happened before in the past on some coins, yeah, for sure. But, you know, I guess it's okay that they're finally being public about it. How long has this actually been going on that they're finally announcing this? And awesome, you know, sure, you guys can mine our network. Sure, we'll take a cut of your stuff. Sure, you want to sell your miners to all our community members after? No problem. That's awesome with us. Just keep giving us more money. It's pretty much what's going on here. And one thing I wanted to point out when we did that video earlier about these ASICs is Shard did point all this stuff out there a while ago. So you can see here was that the 5th or 6th month and 19th. I think that's the 5th month there. He pointed out, he was going through the numbers and saying this has to be ASICs, because if these people even had the latest FPGAs on the market, they would need something like 10 or 50 times more than the amount has ever even been kind of produced out in the wild. So it's pretty much a guarantee that there are ASICs online. And thank you to Shard. If you guys missed this video, check it out and stuff. It's called Radiant ASICs Now Online, but Shard gave a lot of great info and insight on price of power, hash rates, you know, computing everything. And, you know, it pretty much just worked out, though it's impossible to be an FPGA. This is definitely ASICs. And now that we see the Radiant team finally announcing all this stuff, we definitely know it's ASIC. So what is your guys' plans for the future of Radiant? Are you still hoping it's going to go to the moon? Do you think it's going to go to a moon? Or is it just going to turn into the next super centralized, worthless coin out there? Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Rabid out.